Welcome back to the project, renovating this 1857 Philadelphia row home. Last week we primed nearly every wall. And this week we're starting with the finish paint. So I know I'm going to be doing a lot of touch-ups down the road. I want to do all this before we get the floors down, and the floors are kind of the next step. So doing the ceiling, doing at least one layer of paint on the walls will just make it easier for the future. Got some paint. I chose a color called Old Prairie, and we have two paints here. One is Eggshell Old Prairie for the walls. The other, I'm gonna try a 50% of the formula, so it'll be 50% lighter, and this is a flat paint for the ceiling. So we're gonna do the ceiling first, not worry about the edges, and then cut in the edges with the wall paint. All right, step number one, we're gonna do a light sand on the primer to make sure there's no dust or little giblets on the walls. Let's take care of that. All right, first problem. For some reason, this won't go onto my pole, so we're gonna do it by hand. For this step, cleaning up the walls before the paint, a light like this is super handy to shine at this kind of oblique angle here, and it really brings out any little drips or any little marks. I captured something truly lovely here, where I have to search every floor of my house for a specific tool, and that's just a little sanding block. Throughout this process, you'll notice a lot of gentle, soft caressing of the wall with my hand. This is done simply to feel more connected with this lovely old house. Got all the walls touched up with the sanding, and I learned something. It's actually pretty handy for finding spots where we miss primer. I mentioned it before, but it's easy to miss spots because the drywall mud is white, the primer is white. So when you sand, the mud makes a lot more dust. You can really easily tell. There's two spots I gotta hit with the primer before we paint. While I have this primer out, I wanna make the best use of it because I have to wash it out, before I switch paints. I'm gonna add some more primer to other spots I saw I missed. In general, it's kind of hard to film the process. There's a lot of running around because I'm just looking at every single wall, doing little touch-ups and sanding, and sometimes adding spackle, and then I have to go back and sand the spackle and then reprime the spackle, and it's just like a lot of little stuff everywhere. All right, ready to dive into this finish paint. And just one little tip I've learned in my research is to roll the final coat for the ceiling like perpendicular to the window wall so that it's not casting shadows on ridges and stuff, if that makes sense. All right, ready for some wall paint. As it is, the ceiling with a little bit of the cream, it just looks like a smoker's been living in here. Just looks like a, stain. It's just because it's not clean around the edges. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe flat white is better. And I'm worried this paint's gonna be a little too dark, but I'll be able to tell after application. I think the color's looking pretty nice. Rather than rolling everything, I'm gonna cut in these edges just so it's like wet on wet. I don't know. All right, well, got one room done. So I finished painting that kind of test room. It was getting dark. It was nice to see it this morning in different light. And it's just, I think it's a little bit too much, a little too creamy, greeny. That's the old prairie color. So I went to the paint store. I spent a lot of time there. And I was planning to get a 5-gallon jug of flat white, just do all the ceilings. And then indecisiveness set in. And really what I'm worried about with this space is how short this wall is. It's like tiny. And there's just something about the contrast of a flat white to off-white, specifically in this joint, that just isn't sitting right with me. So instead of getting 5 gallons, I got a bunch more little samples. It's kind of funny how critical I'm being with just like an off-white color. It probably just looks like white to you on camera, but I promise you, whites are complex and you gotta choose the right one. For the test, I chose a color called Swiss Coffee. I love the name. It's a very subtle color. Very subtle indeed. The thing I'm really trying to decide is if I want to do a flat white or use the same color as the wall but in a flat finish for the ceiling in this main third floor space. And it's kind of like the idea of color drenching, which is really popular right now, but it's a very subtle application of that theory because it's just an off-white, so the decision really isn't that important, but I want to get it right. It's so subtle. After much deliberation, I think I'm gonna go with the Swiss Coffee flat on the ceiling. I just like how the color really envelops the space, if you will. And it's super subtle. It's like so close to a flat white. It's fine. And to address that comment about having like a white point or a point of contrast, I think I'll do the skylights in a flat white. So that'll be as bright as I can get it. It'll provide contrast subtly to the off-white. I hope it'll be nice. I really hope it'll be nice. Got a couple gallons, still too indecisive to get 5-gallon jugs, but it's about time we got to work. I want to take this time lapse as an opportunity to answer a question I've got a ton in the comments of, wouldn't it be cheaper to just demolish the whole house and start new? And frankly, I don't know where people are getting that idea because it's super expensive to demolish things, especially brick structures. It's super expensive to get rid of heavy waste like a brick structure, and it's added cost to rebuild the floor area that I would have had to take down. So leaving what's good and what can be salvaged was cost effective and maintains the history of the house. Oh, hey there. Welcome to my 4th floor. It's kind of my favorite feature of the house. Extra storage. Could even be a guest room, but not really. I think that's illegal according to code. So storage, boxes. But you know, check it out. This is pretty cool though. Pretty cool little hideout. All right, so I'm up here because it's not primed yet. I'm waiting for other paint to dry. And it's a mess up here. I need a vacuum, spackle dust everywhere, and drywall screws everywhere. All right, we're ready to move on to the walls. All the touch-ups are done. I've had to spackle a little, sand a little, prime a little, but now we're ready to go. Let's finish up the room. I haven't talked much about my technique when it comes to painting. mainly because I don't really maybe know the right way to do it, but I'll show you how I'm doing it. And I'm doing it in a way to give myself a fighting chance of only needing one coat, which is probably a pipe dream. I expect to do 2 coats. Obviously load up the roller, try not to get any drips. And then just get the paint on the wall. Roll it in a couple times to make sure it's even. And then just roll that out a little bit to the left. Hit it on the right. I want to avoid any ridges from roller lines. So going over it several times, I think helps with that. Now what I've been doing is overlapping almost half the roller for the next layer. Roll that in right where it is. Push it a little bit to the left. And then I back roll it over the section I already did. Just a couple rolls all the way up and down the wall. And the overlap and the back rolling is all just in the effort to get as much coverage as possible. Then all you have to do is do that on every single wall in the house 3 times over. All right, back room on the 3rd floor is done at least 1 coat. Coverage is pretty good and it's a light color. I might be able to get away with 1 coat. We'll see when it's fully dry, but I love the color. And again, like on YouTube, it probably just looks white. The camera and color balance, it's hard to really show the nuance of a paint color, and whites have a lot of nuance. But I really love it. It's like not too cream, but it's definitely cream compared to like a true white. And it's just kind of cozy, but bright. Really great. Again, the name is Swiss Coffee. So I got 5 gallons in eggshell, and I got another gallon in flat for the ceiling. And yeah, let's get painting. I want to address another frequently asked question. It's what 3D modeling program I use. And I actually just recently started learning Twinmotion, which is a free program running on Unreal Engine. It's been really awesome. I've done architectural still rendering in school a lot, but I never really did like 3D video animations. But it's worth noting, one program can never do it all, so I use another modeling program called Rhino to do the modeling. And even in Twinmotion, the animation capabilities are limited, so I have to use Premiere. And more than anything, having the concept of what you want to create is the start, and then you find the tool that works for you. But try Twinmotion, it's cool. Don't be fooled, despite the fact that I'm wearing the same clothes and it's still very dark outside, it's actually the next day. Got an early start. It's like 7:30 a.m. on a kind of rainy, gloomy morning here in Philadelphia. Should be getting a little lighter soon. We're gonna do something a little different today, change it up. Yeah, we're gonna paint. Nah, I'm just kidding. We do have something different. I gotta add caulking between the drywall and the skylights before I paint up there, so let's do that. A little caulking is a great way to start the day. Also, it's pretty just tranquil up in the skylights. When I was priming it up there, just being up in the sun on that day, and then today hearing the pitter patter of the rain, it's really cool to have your head up in a skylight. All right, you know what time it is. Time to paint. There's like some pieces of wood that came off the beams that somehow got up here in the primer. Scrape that out, sand it. put a little spackle up there. It's a process. Gotta finish up primer up here, and then paint. There's a couple other areas we need some primer too. This is a great opportunity to cut the music, slow the video down, and just show you the reality of painting. This is just brutal, and yeah, I don't know, 90% of the time I'm just working in silence. Call me crazy, but just enjoying the suffering here, enjoying that sweet $25,000 I decided to save by doing all this work myself. And yeah, I don't regret the decision at all. That's a lot of money, you know? Well, I have you. I want to address a few questions. One that frequently comes up. A while ago, I talked about potentially buying my neighbor's house because it's currently vacant and in decay and in a similar state as this house was when I bought it. And that's still kind of figuring it out, but the timing is important. And luckily, the seller isn't super eager to sell it immediately. So really, realistically, to make it work, I would have to finish this house, refinance it to get cash out to be able to have cash to, you know, buy and renovate another house. There are plenty of reasons to try to buy it. The main one, it's kind of very structurally connected to my house with the alley, and I'm worried a developer will buy it, tear down the house, and structurally compromise my house. There's also the potential to, like, extend the third floor of my house over to the neighbor's house, which is kind of a dream I've had for a long time. I think it'd be so unexpected to come into a row home and have like a double wide space, but there's a ton of complications. Like if you want to do it legally, you'd have to redraw the property lines and join the two properties together, and then it makes it really challenging to sell in the future. So I don't know how realistic that is, but it's a fun dream. And another great reason to buy it is because it's basically the mirror image of this house that I've spent 15 months working on and know like the back of my hand. So if anyone's right for the job, it's me, and I know all the issues now. I'm not quite as naive coming into it, but that also means I would need to get a much better deal than what I paid for my house, which was $230,000. So yeah, the price has to be right, the timing has to be right, but it's definitely something I'm still considering. Another note, I recently looked up the average home value in my neighborhood, and it's around $500,000, which is pretty crazy, but that's just to put at ease all the people that have said in many videos that it's like crazy to pay $230,000 for this house that was termite damaged and on the verge of collapse. But when you have that context of just the value of the area and the value of even the land itself, it's really not as crazy as it sounds. And my renovation will probably be around like 175, maybe 200 when you factor in the facade and other plans I have for the future. But still, that puts me at 430, and there's still some wiggle room there with kind of what the value of the property will be when it's all finished. Another question I'm sure people are curious about, and I've received a lot, is how can I afford a house when I'm 28 years old? Well, to start, living below my means for the past decade. I've never owned a car. In 10 years, the expense for a car is probably over $100,000 with insurance, gas, car payments. I've never had to worry about that. It's pretty nice. Obviously, there are sacrifices. I have to carry my groceries back a mile to my house in a hiking backpack, but that's the price you pay, and I really enjoy it. I like walking around and biking. And I really love to just be an advocate for walkable cities and not having to own a car. In America, most people feel like it's just mandatory to own a car, but you really don't have to. I take the train when I have to go back and visit family. I take the subways. I take buses. These things are out there if you live in a good walkable city like Philadelphia. Another way I've lived below my means is living in an apartment with 4 roommates for the past decade. And this saves another probably $100,000 over 10 years, compared to if I upgraded in my lifestyle and got a $2,000 apartment for myself. And I've just been able to make a small space work and deal with the inconveniences of having roommates. Really don't think it's that bad when you're young. Of course, if you have a family, that's a whole other story. But for now, in this early time of my life, I'm fine, cleaning other people's dishes from time to time. And a final note, just on buying the neighbor's house, I have saved a lot of money to be able to afford this project, but doing a second one so soon is not comfortably affordable. And if you refinance the house, then you're taking out a bigger loan, then I have a bigger mortgage payment, which just adds more financial stress in the long term. And part of how I have been able to stay afloat as an independent artist and creator and entrepreneur is by keeping my expenses very low, hence the roommates, hence no car. And it really terrifies me to have big monthly expenses because in my line of work, you can never guarantee a paycheck. And YouTube has been probably the biggest silver lining of this nightmare of a house. And I want to thank you all for watching these videos because it actually really does meaningfully help me afford a project like this and potentially afford a future project. And really, I just have to get excited about it if I want to pursue this other house. It's a monumental project, but already I've started doing sketches, dreaming of what it could be, and even some 3D models. So maybe I'll share that eventually. But for now, let's get back to some more high-pace painting. Well, this was fun. Not really the priority, and I need to get back to painting to let this mud dry. But yeah, I'm just like scraping, cleaning, getting this old baseboard in better shape, filling gaps, sanding all this, just getting it ready to prime. But yeah, let's get back to painting. Oh, okay. We're done for the day. And I think we're done for the week. I painted the little 4th floor alcove nook. I just did that. It's brutal. Did a second coat in a few places and got a lot of the downstairs hallway done. Basically, we're getting ready, hopefully for like late next week, maybe the week after, to get the floors installed. And I want to get all this paint done. And we're not installing floors on the 1st floor. There we're refinishing. So I'm like waiting to paint the 1st floor. So I just need to finish basically the 3rd and 2nd floor. And I still need to do the bathrooms. I need to get a special paint for that. And I think I might do it in like a semi-gloss, well, probably satin actually. The more glossy, the better moisture resistance. Learned a whole lot about paint. And I'm doing a lot of painting, obviously. And all in all, like, it's brutal, it's a lot of work. I knew it was gonna be a lot of work. Realistically, maybe I could have found a sub to do it for 15,000, but still, 15,000, you know, I'll probably be under 1,000 in materials. So like, the savings for a couple weeks of work, painting, like, whatever. And I think it's turning out well. You know, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm loving the color. And I don't know, I'm pretty indecisive about wanting to do interesting things with the color, like not just do it all in this kind of light beigey color. But at the same time, I kind of want to just keep it simple. The less colors, the less times you have to switch your brush and your roller, less times I have to go to the paint store. And then I can just live in the space and, you know, always paint a wall here and there if I need to. So that's that. It's Thursday, Friday. I'm still trying to run a business, shipping prints and fulfilling orders. So also, if you want to support me, by print, I have the Rowhomes prints. I have the High Rises prints. But yeah, I got to go home. Got to do that. I got administrative tasks and doing a lot of fun things over the weekend, trying to keep a little bit of work-life balance. So with that, I will catch you next week. Thanks as always for watching.